His companion, he explained, was his East German mistress. She, too, wished to defect. The CIA station team was jubilant. Agent Sniper, the most senior and devastating Soviet bloc intelligence defector the agency had ever known, was in the bag and was ready to hand over a wealth of details, names and cover names of communist spies in the West, as well as the locations of their operations. Had the agency been able to look just a few months into the future, it might have been less triumphant. But as they prepared to exfiltrate their catch from Berlin, they had no inkling of the problems that Goleniewski's identity would cause, much less the decades of chaos and paralysis which his revelations would inflict on the CIA, the British Security Service MI5, and the entire network of Western intelligence agencies. Introduction. Even for a spy, and whatever else he might have been, he was a devastatingly successful spy. The man had a remarkable collection of identities. To Poland's intelligence service, he was Lieutenant Colonel Michal Goleniewski, a 40-year-old decorated former army officer, married to a Russian woman and the father of 3 children, and who, by the end of the 1950s, headed one of its most important espionage departments, while simultaneously working for the KGB in Moscow. In the same period, members of Poland's anti-communist movement knew and feared him as Dr. Roman Tarnowski, a relentless interrogator of dissidents who worked for the General Prosecutor's Office. In East Germany, to which he travelled regularly, the files of East Germany's secret police, the Stasi, also recorded his name as Tarnowski, though without the honorific doctorate. Meanwhile, Irmgard Kampf, his East German mistress in the Soviet sector of Berlin, to whom he had funneled thousands of dollars, Deutschmarks and pounds sterling, all stolen from Soviet bloc spy funds, believed him to be Jan Roman, a widowed Polish newspaper journalist. In the United States, the CIA registered him under his self-chosen cover name of Heckenschützer, or Sniper, and reported that he was its most valuable undercover agent behind the Iron Curtain, a volunteer spy who smuggled thousands of pages of top-secret intelligence documents and microfilms to America, and who exposed communist agents throughout Europe and the West. In Britain, the Security Service MI5 assigned him its own cryptonym, Lavinia, and marvelled at the quality of information he provided about KGB agents who had burrowed into its sister organisation MI6, as well as into some of the country's most sensitive military establishments. When he defected in January 1961, across divided Berlin and with Soviet bloc intelligence agents hard on his heels, he initially announced himself to U.S. consular officials as Herr Kowalski, before telling them that he was really Lieutenant Colonel Michal Goleniewski. But 24 hours later, as he prepared to board the U.S. military transport flight which smuggled him out of Germany, he had become Franz Roman Oldenburg, an invented identity that he subsequently used to rent apartments in Arlington, Virginia, and New York. With the CIA's blessing, he also solemnly gave this entirely fictitious name for his bigamous marriage, the first of 2 such weddings, to Irmgard Kampf. 2 years later, to a succession of U.S. congressional committees meeting in secret and to successive occupants of the White House, his name was Martin N. Chirico. Yet simultaneously, he was the beneficiary of a CIA-sponsored private bill in the House of Representatives to grant him citizenship under his real name, Michal M. Goleniewski. But from early 1964, many of the white Russian diaspora, and with them the most senior official of the Russian Orthodox Church in exile, accepted his claim to a very different identity and pedigree. They recognized him as Alexei Nikolaevich Romanov, the miraculously surviving son of the last Tsar, and self-proclaimed heir to the imperial Russian throne. It was that highly improbable pretense which would cause him the most trouble.